The solid support from the bench this season has been huge for the Lakers. Through 7 games, here's how they rank in the league. They are scoring 41 points a game, 6th most in the NBA. Their 48% shooting from the field leads the league and are 5th with nearly 20 rebounds per game. The bench is taking on an identity of its own.
Their energy is infectious. So, them coming off the bench with that energy and that effort just translates to the rest of us. Trez was very active. Not only with the scoring, but his offensive rebound and his defensive approach as well. Giving up size and giving up pounds to Valanciunas, but I thought he handled his own and did a hell of a job. And same with Wes. Wes coming in and just giving that defensive presence, that energy, and also knocking down a couple shots. That was a big time for our team.
Trez does a great job of kind of staying that pick and roll and get it to that pocket. That second unit playing, with kind of 4 shooters around him, with Brown with the ball. The floor is wide open, and he does a great job of getting in that pocket and create those shots. And when he doesn't get it, he's crashing on the rebounds. So he's very special, very good at what he does. It's great to have him.
Do you need players like that to kind of get through the season? Just energy guys to kind of just
a lot of energy guy. I mean, he has a lot of energy, but he's a very talented player. He does things, catching the ball, taking charges, offensive rebounds, finishing around the rim, one-on-one. I mean, he's just not that energy guy. He's very talented as well.
I mean, honestly, really, it's just being able to just play my game and just not being, kind of told and set on, it's got to be this, or this. And, it's kind of been the system that I kind of been playing in for a while. It's got to be threes, layups, or, basically free throws, but that's not like that over here. They play to the style of everybody game, and we're not looking at, anybody as, you have to do this, you have to do that, man. We play basketball over here. It's a free-flowing game. Nobody tries to go outside of themselves, and I think that's what's the best thing about being over here on this team and being with these guys, because everybody does, what they already do well. Don't nobody try to go out there and try to prove that they do something, that people haven't seen.
Interesting, powerful comments there. BT, I want to start with you from Montrez. How do you digest that?
I watched him play when I covered the Clippers, and the one thing I know about him is that he works hard. But I think part of that conversation was the Clippers had a different style of play than what the Lakers have, obviously. The Lakers have 2 of the best players in the league. Let's not forget that, in LeBron James and AD. But Trez's numbers really are slightly down. He's averaging 12 points a game versus 18 with the Clippers. His minutes are a little bit down, but his percentage of shooting the ball is higher. So he's more efficient with this team. And I think, he just, in some ways, guys want to prove to the team that didn't want them that they're better and they made a mistake. So some of that is just a little thing, look, I got some swag, I'm tough. You guys miss me. I know you miss me. You won't say it. And here, take this conversation back with you. It doesn't really matter to me a whole lot. Just go out there and play the game. But it's the new NBA. Players talk that stuff, and it's kind of fun.
That stuff, yes. I think
filter yourself.
I think Montrez is basically just saying, hey, I'm enjoying kind of the free-flowing nature of Frank Vogel and his staff. They're not saying, hey, you have to set this screen here. You go down to the post and up to the elbow and this and that. They're like, just do what you do best. Just get rebounds, be active around the basket, as far as like layups and dunks and alley-oops. And I'm sure it's a little bit more technical than that, but it sounds like he's really feeling free to be himself. Even though, as BT said, the numbers are down a little bit. That's what happens when you play alongside 2 very good big men, as far as Anthony Davis. And I'm sure LeBron James will call him a big man, too.
Look, Mark didn't have to say what he said last night about Montrezl Harrell, but he did, and I'm glad he did. He's not just an energy guy. It's something we see right away when you watch him play the game, but there is a lot of talent there, and I think the reason why he's been able to be successful, BT, is, as you mentioned, he's playing alongside 2 of the best in the game right now, but he's still finding ways. I mean, he can go out and get a double-double without a play being called for him. How valuable is that?
Look, there was one highlight we ran there where he was shooting the little jump hook from about 8 feet away. You didn't see that much last season. He was mostly a pick and roll guy with his boy. They did that the best in the league, but now he's expanded his game. So he's telling everyone in the league that I can do more than just pick and roll, get rebounds and dunk the basketball. I can rebound the ball. I can also take charges on defense. I mean, Trez is a very unique player because he's listed at 6'8", is he really 6'8", Mike Bresnahan? I'm thinking more 6'7" at the tallest. But his motor is as high as anyone I've seen in a very long time.
Yeah, BT hit a little bit more of an offseason than anyone on the Lakers. Obviously, the Clippers were done in the second round. And it's pretty apparent to me that he worked on some stuff. We saw a little bit of it in the preseason when he was starting to hit 15, 16 footers along the baseline. As BT said, he had a nice little, almost like a floater. The other day, I'm like, oh, I don't think I've seen that in his game that often. But Montrez, he just feels very comfortable in this system. I think he probably appreciated and enjoyed the fact that the Lakers went after him right away. Like, he was their #1 priority as a free agent with the money, the limited money that they had to spend. And I'm sure he really appreciated that, too.
Hey, it always feels good to be wanted.
All right.
From Montrez to the next guy on the bench who's really starting to come into his own, Wes Matthews. Guys, he's been fun to watch. Another thing he told us last night at BT on that Zoom interview post-game was that, and I loved this, as we are watching his offense come to fruition, it's about the defensive end of the floor that engages him and ignites him first. I mean, to have a guy say that and then to have the success we're seeing from him on the offensive end, that's a good ingredient for success.
That is great. That was a Zoom that you and I were on, and Mike Bresnahan was not on because you and I were working very hard to give the fans what they wanted from Wesley Matthews. He struggled in the beginning of the year, could not make a shot to save his life, but he got better at it. He kept working at it. I mean, he went 6 for 6 against San Antonio down there. He didn't score the second time, but then he got to Memphis. He made more threes. I mean, and as he told us, you and I on that Zoom, that just you and I were on and Mike Bresnahan was not on, Allie, that defense is #1. And you and I both heard that on that Zoom that Mike Bresnahan was not on.
Well, I'm really glad to hear you guys are working
louder.
so hard on these Zoom chats. I mean, you must have to really, get your computer up and running.
As
we know with BT,
Our lights.
As we know, BT, that's not really his strong suit, being a computer guy in the IT department. But yeah, everything BT said is absolutely correct. And I actually was in the Zoom chat the night that Wesley was 6 for 6 from three-point range. I talked about this on the pregame show yesterday. I said, hey, that's pretty impressive. You took 6 shots, all from three-point range, and you made all 6. And he was like, yeah, so is there a question there?
Yeah.
He was kind of like, yeah, I expect to do that. I expect to be perfect every time I get to the floor. No one does that, but if he does 6 for 6 and then follows it up with 4 for 6 like he did last night, that's not a bad run right there.
BT, I like to talk as much as you do, but I have to support my guy. He was in the studio working
Thank you.
while we were on the Zooms last night, okay?
Yeah, I hope you
Let's
enjoyed your
not act
time.
like he wasn't doing anything.
You and I were on the Zoom with Wesley Matthews. Mike Bresnahan was not.
Facts. When we return, the
I was
purple
just
and
sitting here.
gold are still